Hi guys, good morning. This is Daniel. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. This is your daily forecast for Monday the 11th. The 11th, a master number day. We had a really interesting forecast yesterday. I want to say first off, thank you for all the new viewers that have been coming in. You guys have been coming in a little by little and I love it. It's nice to see that people are subscribing. I really appreciate that support, so thank you very much. I want to say welcome back to my regular viewers. Every view counts, guys, so every time you guys view a video of mine, I really appreciate it, and it helps me to know that people are paying attention to the work that I do, and that it's hopefully bringing them hope, validation, insight, and just a little bit of, honoring the inner guidance that's already within you, right? And so that's kind of the idea behind this, is to sort of just give you a little bit of a leg up in the day. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, and then I want to thank my Patreon subscribers. You guys have just been really awesome the way that you have supported me over on Patreon. I really appreciate it. If any of you are interested in doing the same, you certainly can. At the lowest level, it's $3.33 a month to get the daily forecast a day early, so you can kind of prepare your energy or your day if you feel you want to. That's available to you. You go to patreon.com and look up Engelgeist, and you can choose a subscription level there. There are many different levels to subscribe to and different readings that are available solely over there, like a Cupid's love reading and things like that. If you want to subscribe and support the channel, not subscribe, but if you want to subscribe to subscribe to the YouTube channel and to my business page. If you follow my business page or my YouTube channel, that's also a form of support that requires no money, and is greatly appreciated. And so please do that. Share out my videos, comment, like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. You guys know the drill. So let's get into this Monday forecast. I'm going to start shuffling. We had a really interesting reading yesterday, I felt. It looks like there's a lot of shifts and changes that are possible for folks this week if you want them, if you're interested in pursuing that. The Upper World card really has me intrigued. I watched this morning's forecast. I take these a day early, right? So I watched this morning's weekly for Sunday. It's Sunday morning as I'm filming this. So I watched this morning's with the viewers that were on this morning, and I was really kind of compelled after taping it. That Upper World card feels powerful to me, guys. There is options here. There is opportunities this week. So we're going to see what these cards build upon throughout this week and see what is going on for all of us. This is a timeless message. I always say this too, just for those of you that are looking at this video when it's not May 11th. I believe that Spirit has a way of reaching us when the time is right. And that's what I intend when I ask sort of my guides and archangels and ascended masters and everybody to join me in this and to guide me in this. I ask them to make this a timeless message. Anything that I believe is for the greater collective, for the highest and greatest good, is always going to be timeless. Okay? So that's sort of where I feel like the timelessness comes into each of these daily forecasts, is that the intention is set for the highest and greatest good of the greater collective. So therefore, when you're in vibrational alignment to it, it may come up in your feed. So don't turn it off just because the date is different. All right, so let's see what's going on here. I also want to say a quick thank you to anybody who's bought decks through my Amazon affiliate links in the video descriptions. I really appreciate that. You guys have supported me there in ways that surprised me and amazed me. So, and to other viewers that have sent me stuff off of my Amazon wish list to help me to have, different decks to play with, and so that you guys can also explore different decks. I've greatly appreciated that. I've received a beautiful gift from one of my Patreon subscribers. It's a deck. Where did I send it? I just had it here. Did I not? I've actually received the Starseed Oracle from one of my Patreon subscribers. Or she's not a subscriber, but she's a viewer. And then where is the other new deck? What did I do with it? Did I move it somewhere? Oh my gosh, guys. Random. So anyways, I have oh, here it is. Hold on, I'm gonna walk by you. You're gonna see my red shorts. That's okay. Those are my pajamas. Uh, so I received this deck from one of my Patreon subscribers. It's called Queen of the Moon Oracle. So this looks beautiful, guidance through lunar and seasonal energies. I'm excited for both of these decks. I will do unboxings of them, and then we'll get them into the roundup so that we get to see what's going on with these cards, okay? So thank you to both of those viewers. I would specifically call out names, but I feel like, you know, if they want their privacy kept intact, I'm not going to do that. So I appreciate those two viewers. They know who they are, okay? So let me see here. What's the energy for Monday the 11th? All right, so remembering that we have that Dreamer of Wands energy underneath. Oh my God. We have the Ouroboros again. All right, so this is our end of the week card. This is like major arcana energy. First off, I'm going to say this is the Wheel of Fortune. And I really feel like as I'm looking at this card and it's coming in on a Monday, it is reminding us that, guys, this is a big week for transformation. This is a big week for getting things into alignment, centered and ready to sort of, this fire to me feels like the fire of that Wands energy that we're seeing. If you're not watching regularly, yesterday we had the Dreamer of Wands energy, right? And she had this very sort of passive feel to her as a card. She felt sort of like us kind of relaxing a little bit in our spiritual energy and talking to, like, feeling through our emotions hopefully being at an even keel space. And we are able to sort of kind of sort out what it is we want, maybe at a deeper spiritual and emotional level, and kind of have that chat and start to create that. That's the dreamer aspect of that. Keeping an open mind, even though things may not feel as though we can make a lot of changes right now, we actually can. There's opportunity here, and that's what this Wheel of Fortune is telling us, showing up on Monday. It's reminding us that by the end of the week, this needs to be our focus throughout the entirety of the week, is the power of this Ouroboros card. The Ouroboros is a type of symbol. I looked it up yesterday when I did the filming of this just to find out a little bit more about it, and it is the symbol of sort of infinity, right? Of this, sometimes it's a dragon, sometimes it's a lizard, or a snake it can be. But it's sort of going around and creating this infinity symbol of a full cyclical cycle, both beginning and ending, right? And to me, that's what this is about. This is also the energy of the Wheel of Fortune, which that's always a slower sort of moving energy, right? But I get this feeling that with that fire underneath this triangle, this is the fire that we see in that Dreamer of Wands. This is sort of the piece that I feel like is in the centeredness of these crystals, as they're reaching out to the three different aspects of self, the mind, the body, and the spirit. This is the triangle that you see at the beginning of my videos, guys, right? For those of you that watch very regularly, you know about the triangle meditation that has the mind, the body, the spirits, and then underneath spirit, and then underneath the triangle is the emotions, which is sort of how the three components kind of, I believe, communicate and converse. So I feel like there's a focus on this and a centering of this, where if we take this and honor those aspects of ourselves, line them up and bring them into sort of acceptance of one another and support of one another, we can start to let these Dreamer of Wands fires burn, right? And propel us forward in a very sort of educated, powerful, and how do I want to say, like, I don't feel, I feel like this card is very, it doesn't, tranquil is not the right word. I felt tranquil with the Dreamer of Wands. This to me feels more measured is a good word, right? Even though we have the volatility of this fire underneath, I feel like the balance of this triangle and all of these energies here, which these crystals to me would represent energy, our energy, or, you know, how we deal with external energies this week. It's reminding us to keep that calmness, that Dreamer of Wands sort of tranquility, and begin to create with that energy and that fire of spirit. And remember that that creation, or whatever we're focusing on, is beginning to open up the gateway or the door, so to speak, to begin this creation, this cycle this week. And it's interesting to me also, I want to say that this Ouroboros is a symbol of beginnings and endings and the opening and closing of cycles. And it's opening on a Monday, and it showed me yesterday's reading that it's closing on Saturday, right? So it is showing me the power of that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, but I feel like that's part of this message too, is it's going like, don't forget that by week's end, we've kicked this off. We're actually kicking this off now with this Dreamer of Wands energy. Does that make sense, guys? I hope that does. So go back and watch yesterday's video, because these cards are a little bit, to me, a little bit like I chose them both because they have mystical in the name. There is a little bit of mysticism happening with these readings because it's just the energy in which these cards were created. But I feel like there is this this card showing up today is telling us that what we focus on, we are going to get. How we focus on it is how we're going to receive. And if we want to be in like sort of full alignment or cyclical in opening and closing of the cycles this week, we want to be paying attention to this. We want to be aware that this is heady energy. We want to be aware that where we place even our idle thoughts is vital this week. Idle is vital, guys. So let's see what's going on with this. Could also, for those of you, I'm going to just say this, and I don't think that there's many of you out there, but those of you that maybe are feeling stuck, be careful. The warning that would come with this card to me would be, if we're not careful, we might feel like we're chasing our own tail. That's a very literal meaning, but I could feel the fire under this like burning us a little bit. For some of you that might be more negative Nancy or stuck on what's not working, if you're channeling that energy, the wheel will turn that way too, and it will give you big service in that way too. The Wheel of Fortune is going to give us whatever we work on, whatever we focus on, whatever we sort of can't let go of, whatever we, find ourselves focused on. We're just going to get more of it, and in a very sort of big way. It's reminding us to pay attention to what we're doing this week. If we're focusing on the misery, the frustration, we could be locking that in. We also are going into retrograde season, guys, and that's another thing where Mercury is about to go retrograde. Saturn, I want to say Venus, there's a few planets going into retrograde. Pluto maybe, which is another interesting retrograde that will be about sort of major transformation. So keeping that in mind, this is where we want to be solid in ourselves. Paying attention. It's funny too, because the only song that I put on yesterday's forecast in the description was for the Ouroboros, because I just didn't feel like I could connect to the music for the other cards that day. I don't know why. And so this Ouroboros is definitely like asking us, what are we focusing on? What are we creating? Where do we want to go? Okay, let's see what's in the Mystical Shaman Oracle, the Child. All right, so this to me does, I'm just gonna move this over a little bit. Beautiful card, card number 7. I love that we have the moon here in like sort of different cycles. You can see it faintly there. And to me, this child, it almost reminds me of that Dreamer of Wands energy. That idea of sort of being aware, yet not necessarily having all of the answers. That idea of what, it also pulls me back to that card of upper world, right? Where if we're in this position, and this is before I even read this child card definition, but to me the child represents this idea of we have a certain set of knowledge, but we might be moving into an area of growth. We might be moving into an area of learning in our life that is allowing us to sort of take in the lessons. There's an innocence to children, right? There's a an enthusiasm, a joy that comes with children that we want to maybe hold on to. Now, do I feel like this child is as joyous as they could be? No, but I do feel that if we keep an open mind this day and we think about this Ouroboros and what we are focusing on, this child will allow us the opportunity to sort of learn through attention, through, ooh, look at this. She has a triangle on her third eye. Do you see that? I don't know how well the light is in this room. It looks a little dark to me. But she has a triangle on her third eye, and then she has that sun above her crown. This to me feels like I think of that upper world card when I'm looking at this child card, and that upper world is the underpinning energy of this entire week. This child is saying to me at the beginning of this week, we get to have that conversation that we see in the Dreamer of Wands, which is also that page energy, that idea of opening ourselves up, both psychically, in our knowing, and not necessarily just allowing ourselves to be observant, to learn another aspect of all of this, to learn another desire that we may have underneath this, to learn of another opportunity that may be available to us through this Ouroboros energy. What is it that we really want? I know that it feels sort of vague right now in which ways the world may be heading or where we may want to go, but the child is like that energy where we're allowed to dream. That's that Dreamer of Wands, right? Children have dreams. Sometimes they have the best dreams, better dreams than adults at most times, right? So this child energy to me, or this card, what it feels like it's saying to me is, or for you guys, is to remain open-minded, to remain innocent in a way. Remember we saw Mott all last week, and there was that idea of that pure heart? This child card is also bringing that into play. That idea of how are we looking at our world? How are we viewing ourselves in our world? And we might be learning a lot of things, but there's nothing wrong with being in school or being taught, right? And we can trust the upper world, our guides, our angels, our own higher self to bring us that information. We need to remember we have that information within ourselves, but we have to also place our egos, our conscious minds, maybe into a place of being a little bit more in a state of learning like this child, so that we can see that what we're looking at or how we're perceiving the world, what we're focusing on is creating cycles and patterns and opening doors or for experiences that we maybe either greatly want or don't want. Let me find the child and read it for you really quick, because I don't know the definition of this card. This is the first time I'm seeing this card. So the child, the essence of the card is the child knows the way to joy and happiness. The child offers the return of a second innocence, a time born of wisdom and not of naivete. This card allows you to correct your course. This is the Ouroboros, guys. He's telling us we can change course, and offers you a second chance. It brings you the possibility of redemption and entering heaven while on earth. This is that discussion that we saw in yesterday's card where she's having that conversation with that fish in the Dreamer of Wands. It's kind of like, what do we want? And she had that spirit above her, that bird spirit above her, which to me was like the upper world card. I know I must sound cuckoo. I hope you guys are getting what I'm saying. The invitation of the child card. The child is here to release you from the habit of being yourself and to help you acquire a beginner's mind so that you can see life as if for the first time. Remain open to learning and discovery. Who is your spouse or partner today? Can you see them with fresh eyes? Who is looking back at you in the mirror this morning? Become a mystery unto yourself and reconnect with a childlike sense of wonder. So I said some of this stuff, guys, without even knowing this. This is about remaining open and being learning. This is a definite, that Dreamer of Wands energy that sort of underpins this, almost doubles that childlike innocence or that opening of the heart, and finding those expressions within ourselves to sort of join them with this Wheel of Fortune. The medicine for the child is the child comes to show you how you can correct the course of your life without being punished. Set yourself free from your conditioning for suffering. You were born unfettered and happy and can be so again if you make the choice right now. The child will help you climb out of a hole you may have dug yourself into to recover your sense of play. So that's a beautiful card, and to me I feel like with the strength of this Ouroboros card, it says to me, for those of you that might be focused on the negative, you need to sort of free yourself, get into, wow, the whole left side of my head is buzzing right now. You need to get free of yourself, or not free of yourself, but pay attention to where you're focusing, guys. There's some power in what we're putting our intention and our attention on this week. This Ouroboros is no joke. It will bring us very good tidings and blessings if we allow it, if we open our minds to it, if we look at it through these eyes of a child. Now let's look at the grounding stone. What is the energy we want to ground in? And remember that grounding stone that pinpoints through, or that is for the beginning of, throughout the underpinning, throughout the entirety of this week, is that stone of energy, right? Which was on obsidian. I'll show it to you. I always lay them here on the side. So this energy is the underpinning, right? So we need to be very conscious of our energy. It being on obsidian, it naturally wards off negative energy, which I like that for us, but we also have to be consciously aware to ward off that negative energy throughout this week. Now, this is your stone. This is on, oh shit, what is this? I can't think of it. Carnelian, I believe. Regardless, to me, where this takes me, it being a red stone, it says embrace. This red stone is about the first chakra to me. This embrace to me feels like embracing this child, embracing the opportunity for change, embracing the upper world, and bringing them in, inviting them in, that dreamer of wands energy. This also being red in the element of fire, wands energy. This says to me, embrace possibility, embrace opportunity, embrace like the idea for innocence. Look at things like it said in that child card with fresh eyes. Because as you do so, the Ouroboros starts to spin, the Wheel of Fortune starts to spin, and we can almost realign ourselves in the situations that we saw maybe as maybe we saw them as detriments, and now we can realign ourselves to them, to have them work with us. And I think that we need this energy as we head into this retrograde season, right? We need to be conscious of this, and we need to embrace this opportunity to, what is this teaching me would be a great question to ask this week, or on this day with this child card, and embrace those teachings. All right, that is your forecast. Sorry I ran long, guys, but these cards are kind of tripping me out. I hope this makes sense. Please leave me a like, share, comment, subscribe, and let me know if this stuff is resonating with you guys. I hope that it is. Embrace all the teachings that come to you today. They will be to your betterment if you allow them and you're open to them. Don't resist them. All right? I love you. Take care. Have a great day. And I will see you all tomorrow to see what comes up for tomorrow's forecast. If we have this Ouroboros all week, I'm going to go crazy. All right. Have a great day, you guys. I love you all. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.